Good morning, fellow travelers in this beloved community, the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. I welcome you to this amazing morning. It's absolutely gorgeous outside, and I'm so grateful that you're here today. My name is Marianne Atwell Hartye, and I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner here. And we're going to start today, as we always do, with a meditation. And the reason we do that is not only to open our own hearts and our own minds to what we're about to hear and experience in the service, but to set the container for other people who are also joining us. So I'm going to do a reading, and then we're going to meditate for about 15 minutes. And then we'll take a break and resume at 10:45. So I invite you to just settle in. Take a deep breath. Just follow the breath. Don't force the breath. Just follow the breath in and follow it back out. And follow it in and follow it out. That breath is God breathing us. And I'm going to do a reading today from The Art of Life by Ernest Holmes. He says, "Try and relax mentally and physically. When you do this, you will find something very definite taking place in your thought world. Solid facts become fluid. Obstructions and obstacles seem to fall away. You are, in a sense, climbing a ladder of thought, which perhaps started in dense confusion, fear, and uncertainty. The first step takes you a little above this confusion, and now you begin to climb more easily. There's an enthusiastic elasticity in your step. You climb joyously. You find that you have passed through the clouds of fear, despair, and doubt. There is light everywhere." Taking another deep breath in, knowing the sun is always shining, whatever clouds seem to be in our way, I just invite you to get quiet and we'll settle in. And now, with a more open mind and an open heart, holding on to that light that shines within us, that light surrounds us all the time, that light that leads the path to that divine purpose that each of us came to fulfill. I invite you to come back into the room. Taking another deep breath in, following it, not forcing it, letting it out, and knowing as surely as the sun is always shining that the next breath follows and the next breath leaves, and all is great. Ah, what an amazing, amazing life. So holding on to that, please rejoin us at 10:45 for the service that follows. Thank you.
take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, loved and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in, come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. So whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. If there's some kind of trouble or pain you're going through, know that you are not alone, and someone cares for you as an individualization of the divine point of view. This door, I said this door is open to you. Come on in, come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. Come on in, come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door, I said this door is open. It's open to you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. For those of you that might not know me, my name is Dusty Rippelmeyer, and I have the honor and the privilege of being the senior minister of this amazing community. We are part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living. We believe that there is one power and presence, and that power and presence is within us, not off on a cloud somewhere doling out punishments at whim, but really a power and a presence that is within us, that is benevolent, that is always for us and never against us. We believe that this power is that creative force back of everything that there is, seen and unseen. And because we were created in its image and likeness, we too have that ability to create. In fact, we are always creating. We have the ability to create all of the experiences of our lives. And that's the really good news, because if you don't like the experience you're having right now, the one that created it is one that can absolutely recreate it. So we're just so very, very glad that you are with us today. We welcome all of you that have been attending our services, our classes, and our special events. And we welcome all of you that are visiting for the very first time. We see you. We know who you really are. We appreciate you, and we celebrate you. We're grateful that you have chosen to include us in your morning. My gratitude and appreciation goes out to Marianne Hartye, one of our licensed spiritual practitioners, who facilitated a beautiful, absolutely beautiful meditation to set the stage for our service to unfold within. Thank you so very much, Marianne. And now please join me in welcoming another one of our licensed spiritual practitioners, Carol Cross. Welcome, Carol.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be with everyone on this first Sunday in May. Such a beautiful month, such a beautiful time. So, and we are going to have such a beautiful service. Our theme for this month is Holy, Holy Uprising. And our talk title for today is This Adventure Called Life. Holding vigil for us this morning, which means she stays in a meditative space throughout the service to create a sacred bubble for us to have a transformative experience today. So it is our friend and practitioner, Marianne Hartye. Thank you, Marianne.
My honor.
All right, I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. Now we're going to do something that was always one of my favorite parts of the service because I think it's such a lovely, sacred ceremony, our blessings of many faiths. And I like it even better these days because we invite somebody from our community, somebody that we haven't gotten to see physically for a long time, and that always makes the service even more special. So I am so delighted to welcome some long-term and well-beloved members of our community, Eileen and Vinnie Jenna, who will be assisting me today. Hey guys, thank you all so much.
Hey, how are you? Oh my gosh, it's so wonderful to reconnect with the Triangle Center, the spiritual living community. We really missed it.
Yes, we miss everybody, and we're so blessed to be part of this today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth for the followers of all paths.
Mm-hmm.
And
so it is.
Thank you guys so much. I now invite you to join Cindy Johnson as she sings our opening congregational song.
God is so amazing, shining through you. God is so amazing, shining through you. One look in your eyes, and you know it's true. God is so amazing, shining through you. God is so and you can see God is so amazing, shining through me. God is so amazing, shining through us. God is so amazing, shining through us. Your heart and my heart, it's the sweetest love. God is so amazing. God is so amazing. God is so amazing, shining through us.
Oh my gosh, such a beautiful song. Thank you so much, Cindy. I really appreciate that. Okay, so let's close our eyes for a minute as I say a word of invocation for our service today. So take a deep breath and let's focus on that light of God that is shining through us. And I know that that light is a light of unconditional love. I know it is a light of divine wisdom. I know it is a light of beauty, of joy, of abundance. And most of all, it's a light of unity. So I see this light shining within me, and I know it is the truth of who and what I am. But I see it shining beyond my little physical container and connecting with the light that is shining from you. That same light, that same oneness with the divine. That's in everyone who's listening to this service, everyone who is in our community, everyone who is in our world, everything, every thought, every atom, every tidbit of energy. It is all this one thing of God excellence. And I am so grateful for that. So, knowing that this is the truth of us all, I say a word of blessing on all the people who make this service happen today. I say a word of blessing on Mark Daly, our producer, a man who is such a blessing to this community in helping us transfer what we did physically into electrons. So knowing that he will have the excellence of God flowing through his fingertips and make everything work perfectly. I say a word of blessing on Marianne Hartye for creating this sacred bubble for our transformation. I say a word of blessing on Vinny and Eileen as they are here as the physical representation of all of our beloved community. I say a word of blessing on Sandy Hemenway, our musician, who will transport us with his words and his music. And I say a word of blessing on Rev.Dusty, knowing that today she is an absolute hollow bone for the divine. That divine wisdom, divine light, divine love, divine laughter will flow through her and will fill us all with even more expressions and experience of the divine. And most of all, I say a word of blessing on all of you who are with us in this service, both today and in future voyages, because this is an energetic universe. And you may not be on camera, but your energy is part of the flow of the divine that makes today special. So I thank everyone who's involved in today, and knowing that we all bring our best God selves to this endeavor this morning. So I know that that being who and what we are, there is no other option but that everything will unfold perfectly today. What needs to be said will be said. What needs to be heard will be heard. And we will all have a divine experience. So, knowing that it is already a done deal in the mind of God, I turn it over to a universe that always says yes with our words, and so it is. And so it is. Okay. The reading for today is from Ernest Holmes, and he says, life is not just something to be endured, it is to be lived in joy, in a fullness without limit. Okay, and before we get to the talk, we get to slide into it with the beautiful music of Sandy Hemenway, a man whose talent is only exceeded by his heart. So, welcome, Sandy.
Thank you, Carol. It's truly a joy for me to be here. This is a song I wrote a few years ago. It's called Unconditionally. Work was bad today. It made me want to swear. At home I find my favorite chair in pieces. Rage is building. I so want to explode. Then I'm fixed by Chewie's loving soulful stare. The first time that we met, those puppy kisses on my face, they brought me joy beyond compare. Really cares about her chair. Women understand the trials of motherhood, the aching back and nausea each morning. The pain is building, it comes at her in waves. When a child appears, she knows that all is good. Wrapped my infant smiles, the mother holds her tiny babe. So thankful all it's as it should. She will remember only good. Do not judge in any way as we live together. Day by day, imagine just how good life could be if we all would love unconditionally. Back in '69, I was still a child. The world was filled with hatred and confusion. Thousands were protesting while our boys went off to war. Then the anger stopped, if only for a while. One small step for man, and for a day the world was whole. A giant leap is ours if we just try. So pray with me for all mankind. Do not judge in any way as we live together. Day by day, imagine just how good life could be if we all love unconditionally. Unconditionally. Unconditionally.
Thank you very much, Sandy. Beautiful sentiment. If we could all just love unconditionally, that'd be truly amazing. There is a story about a young man who was about to begin some studies. Now, before he began them, he wanted some kind of assurance from the master. So he asked the master, "Can you teach me the goal of human life?" And the master replied, "I cannot." "Well, at least could you tell me its meaning?" "I cannot." "Can you then indicate to me the nature of death and of life beyond the grave?" "I cannot." The young man walked away in scorn. And the disciples of the master were quite dismayed, thinking that their master had shown up in such a poor light. But he soothed them by saying to them, "Of what is it to comprehend life's nature and its meaning if you have never tasted it? I'd rather you ate your pudding than speculate on it." Now, for me, this implies that we are really encouraged to really participate in life, to not just think about it or talk about it, but actually really live it. The reality is that some of us are doing that now, and some of us are not. For some of us, life is filled with boundless joy, unlimited possibility, wonder, and excitement. For others, life is a running loop of wake up, get ready to go to work, head to work, head home, get something to eat, go to sleep, and repeat again and again and again. We have become comfortable and complacent with the repetition. It's our comfort zone, the place where we feel like we are the most safe and sound. But is that really living? What happened to living life to its fullness? Where are the daring adventures that we dreamt when we were children? As I sat with my talk title, "This Adventure Called Life," I spent some time really looking at the meaning of adventure. And I was actually surprised by what I found. So I found the definitions and the synonyms to fall in one of two camps. One describes adventure as an exciting or noteworthy event that one experiences firsthand. Its synonyms include escapade, venture, expedition, exploration, mission, or quest. The other describes adventure as a risky and bold undertaking in which dangers are likely to be encountered. It is a hazardous and striking enterprise filled with unseen events, usually involving danger. Adventure fiction is a genre of fiction in which an adventure involving risks and physical danger forms the main storyline. Its synonyms are risk, chance, crapshoot, gamble, speculation, bet, hazard, long shot, test, ordeal, trial, and tribulation. Now, I realize that I fall into the first camp. I have always thought of an adventure as exciting, thrilling, something that I can't even wait to begin. While I understand that there might be some risks along the way, I would never have described adventure as a risky undertaking, usually involving danger. It would never have occurred to me to put the emphasis on what could be lurking along the way. And yet I understand why others might do so and how that will affect the choices that they make and the quality of their lives. So if life is an adventure, which I believe that it is, the invitation is for each of us to take a deep look at the way that we define adventure, the context from which we are living our lives from. Does our definition of adventure encourage us, or does it hold us back from really living a fulfilling life? Helen Keller said, life is either a great adventure or nothing. Now, that's quite a statement to make, considering the challenges that she encountered in her life. For those of you who may not know very much about Helen Keller, she was born in Tuscumbia, Alabama on June 27th, 1880. At 19 months, she contracted what was either meningitis or perhaps rubella or maybe even scarlet fever. At any rate, the illness left her both deaf, and blind. She lived, as she recalled in her autobiography, at sea in a dense fog. She lived throughout all of her early years. She could only have any kind of communication with one other person, and that was through some really rudimentary ways that they kind of made up. When she was 5 years old, on the advice of Alexander Graham Bell, her parents applied to the Perkins Institute for the Blind in Boston for a teacher. Now, the teacher that they hired was Anne Sullivan. Anne Sullivan arrived at the Kellers' house on March 5th, 1887, a day that Helen would forever remember as my soul's birthday. Sullivan immediately began to teach Helen to communicate by spelling words out into her hand, beginning with the word doll, D-O-L-L, in honor of the doll that she had brought Helen for a present. At first, Helen was very frustrated because she did not understand that every object had a word uniquely identifying it. Her breakthrough in communication came about a week later when she realized that the motions that the teacher was making in the palm of her hand, while also simultaneously pouring cool water over her other hand, symbolized the idea of water. Keller then nearly exhausted Sullivan by demanding the names of all of the other familiar objects that were in her world. Helen said, "The living word awakened my soul, gave it light, hope, and set it free." After an education in both specialist and mainstream schools, Helen attended Radcliffe College at Harvard University and became the first deaf and blind person to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree. She was a prolific author. She wrote 14 books and hundreds of speeches and essays. She worked for the American Foundation for the Blind from 1924 until 1968, during which time she toured all over the United States and to 39 different countries around the globe, advocating for people who were suffering from vision loss. Widely honored throughout the world, she was invited to the White House by every U.S. president from Grover Cleveland to Lyndon B. Johnson. Her long life, her courage, her intelligence, and her dedication combined to make her a symbol of the triumph of human spirit. And if that is not a life of an adventure, I don't know what is. One of the most significant acts that we can do in any given moment is to say yes to a call of adventure. If we don't get in the habit of saying yes, we will miss the adventure that might assist us to become the person of our dreams, to become the person that we were created to be. No great accomplishment comes without a great price. And for many people, the greatest price that comes from having a yes to adventure is the act of leaving where they are today. The choice to live in an adventure it's not always an easy one. It's often very difficult to break free of the monotonous routine of daily life when we have been repeating it over and over and over again for years on end. It's all too easy to stay stuck in our safety bubble and forget how to really live. It's all too easy for us to come up with a myriad of excuses on why we shouldn't break free and step out of the box that we've been living in. There's only one way to break free from the routine, to break free out of that box and to step out of that bubble, and that is to just do it. Say yes to adventure. Helen Keller embraced the adventure of her life, and the invitation today is for all of us to do the same. Some people say that they're open to adventure, but they fear getting it all wrong. They fear making mistakes and making a mess of their lives. It's as if they're convinced that there is only one opportunity, one choice, and one moment that will define their entire lifetime. Such thinking is really flawed. Life is full of choices. There will be another call to adventure because life is really full of them. There's no need to stress about getting it right because no one gets it right 100% of the time. When we receive a call to adventure, the invitation is to embrace the unknown. When we do so, we create an atmosphere that is really ripe for personal transformation. The invitation is to let go of what is comfortable today. It's the only way that we have the capacity to reach forward to what is next. We must be willing to see and experience life with new eyes. We must be curious about what we know and about what we have yet to learn. There must be a restlessness within our soul that points to something new. When we have a yes to adventure within us, then we experience that something new. We broaden our horizons, and as we do so, then we begin to write new stories that are filled with excitement and joy. People with adventure in their blood know that we only live once in this incarnation and that our time on the planet is short. And so they refuse to live day in and day out in the same routine. They realize that life wants us to go out and to have fun and to make new stories and to meet new people and to visit new places. If we don't take that first step, then we will never experience adventure or live life to the fullest. Thich Nhat Hanh says, many people are alive, but don't touch the miracle of being alive. The invitation is to just do it. Just pick up and move if you want to move. Just put out your resume out there and begin to do some interviews if you want to find another job. If you want to write a book, just do it. Will it be easy? Maybe, maybe not. Will it be rewarding? Absolutely. The point is to actually take action rather than to continually just keep planning it year after year and constantly making excuses as to why you cannot do it. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. You will be okay, I promise you. And you'll learn from them if you do make them. So don't be afraid to make them. The sum total of any life experience can't be bound in a single moment, in a single choice, or in a single opportunity. Getting it right or getting it wrong is not based on one choice, but on a series of choices. Living our life to the fullest is not about getting it right as much as it is about saying yes to as many adventures as we possibly can. Clarity, confidence, and conviction only come when we courageously accept the call to adventure. Life is also filled with a series of interruptions that we often experience as intrusive or troublesome. But sometimes those intrusions are exactly what we need. They're a call to adventure, an opportunity to experience life in its fullness. It might take us many years to realize it, but adventure is the element of life that many of us are missing. We desperately want it, but we fear it at the same time. Adventure comes to us in many different forms. It could be something as simple as taking a new way home from work, or joining a book club and meeting new people, or going camping, or going on a cruise. It could be hiking the nearest national park, or learning to surf, or climbing a mountain, or hang gliding, or traveling to a foreign country. However, adventure can come to us in a conversation with a casual acquaintance or perhaps a very close friend. It may be a series of circumstances that point to a moment of choice, whether that's a big choice or a small choice. It may be the dots that suddenly connect and become a clear indication of what will come next. Adventure isn't always predictable or pleasurable or without pain and suffering. Olympic athletes will tell us that the training and commitment that is involved is intense, unforgiving, and relentless. However, it is in moving through the pain and suffering that we uncover the riches hidden within the adventure that we are being called to do. Our next adventure could arrive through a powerful full body yes to the divine urge that's coming to us from within, the one that's been knocking and knocking upon the door of our consciousness, the one that we've been trying to ignore. Shonda Rhimes, the amazing creative force behind Grey's Anatomy, The Practice, How to Get Away with Murder, Scandals, and most recently Bridgerton, experienced her call to adventure in a simple conversation with her sister. It was November 2013, and the two of them were together cooking the Thanksgiving dinner for their extended family. And as they were cooking the dinner, they were catching each other up on their respective lives. Shonda was telling her sister about all of the invitations that she had been receiving over the last few weeks. Someone wanted her to speak at a conference. Someone else wanted her to go to a fancy dinner. Someone else wanted her to travel to such and such country to meet the king. And somebody wanted her to be on a certain talk show. Now, in all, she listed 10 or 11 different invitations. Her sister asked her if she was going to go to any of them. Have you actually said yes to anything? Her reply was, no, obviously, I'm way too busy. Her sister went on to basically tell her that that was a cop-out. She said, you have 3 amazing friends who would step in and help at any time. You are surrounded by family and friends who love you, people who want you to be happy. You are your own boss. Your job is only as busy as you make it. But you never do anything but work. You never have any fun. You used to have so much fun. Now, all of these amazing opportunities are coming your way, once in a lifetime opportunities, and you aren't taking advantage of any of them. Under her breath, as a last little dig, she mutters the 6 words that become the catalyst for Shonda's yes to adventure. You never say yes to anything. In that moment, neither she nor her sister realized how important those 6 words were about to become. In fact, in the moment, Shonda was really pretty uncomfortable with the conversation. She felt defensive, and she felt, she heard herself getting like kind of riled up, and she said, my life is fine. My life is great. I mean, just look around you. But throughout the day, the words would not leave her alone. They kept knocking on the door of her consciousness. For the next few weeks, those words, that catalyst, kind of lay dormant, and her life was fairly routine, when all of a sudden, one out of the ordinary single event occurs. She is told that as a trustee of the Kennedy Center, that she needed to attend the Kennedy Center Honors Celebration. And not only did she need to attend the celebration, but she was told that she would be sitting with President Obama and the First Lady in their box. Now, she was just told this. She was not asked. She was not given an opportunity to say no. And in the end, she actually had a really wonderful time, and she returned to Los Angeles with a sense of optimism. And then the grenade explodes. She was lying in bed about 4 o'clock in the morning when she was abruptly yanked out of sleep. In that moment, she realizes that if she had been asked, she would have said no. She knew that that was totally ridiculous, but she knew that it was also entirely true. If she had been asked, she would have said no. Carefully, respectfully, and expressing both honor and regret, but she would have said no, because she always says no. The words of her sister flooded over her, and more than understanding her, she believed her. Ernest Holmes says there is an inner urge in our minds to grow, to expand, to break down the barriers of previous limitations, and to ever widen our experience. This persistent urge is a divine influence, an irresistible force, and constitutes the greatest impulse in human experience. Shonda Rhimes said that when the dust settled and everything became clear, she was left with one rattling thought through her mind, that no matter how successful or how important or how significant her life was, that thought was, I am miserable. And in that moment, she decided that maybe it was time to say yes. Her book, Year of Yes, How to Dance It Out, Stand in the Sun and Be Your Own Person, is her account of her year of saying yes to everything. And I'm telling you, it is a book that I would recommend to everyone. Now, at the end of the book, she says, the one thing that I have learned is that I don't know anything. If someone had told me on that Thanksgiving morning in 2013 that I would be an entirely different person today, I would have laughed in their face. And yet, here I am, 127 pounds thinner, several toxic people lighter, closer to my family, a better mother, a better friend, a happier boss, a stronger leader, a more creative writer, a more honest person with myself and with everyone else in my life, more adventurous, more open, braver, and kinder to others, but also to myself, The cruelty with which I treated myself is no longer tolerated. The pantry door is open. I am out among the living, climbing another mountain, looking for another view. Say yes. Today, science shows us that the universe responds to us, to how we think and how we feel. We are creating our own experience of life. Often we hold back from experiences, new experiences, or from adventures because of fear. But truly, the greatest risk, if there is one at all, is in not opening to our infinite possibilities. Kent Ingle, in his book, This Adventure Called Life, Discovering Your Divine Design, says, no one wants to wake up one day and realize that they missed every call to adventure that came their way. That would be a nightmare. Instead, we want to look back on our lives and see the twists and turns, the chaos and the disruptions, the uncertainty and victory as a beautiful symphony of adventure that leaves us with a sense of awe, wonder, and excitement. At its core, life is a call to an adventure and an invitation to explore the world with eyes wide open. The choice is up to each one of us, as it always is. Will you stay where you are and accept the discomfort and rumbling within your ordinary life? Or are you ready to step into a great adventure? The invitation today is to say yes. Say yes to this adventure called life. And so it is. And so it is. So I just invite everyone to turn within, to allow ourselves to turn away from the world of form and to turn our attention inward to that space and place that I call God, the Christ consciousness, that light of the divine. And to just feel that presence around us and within us. I know that I am one with it, that it is that which created me out of itself in a moment of unconditional love, that love that Sandy spoke about. And just as I know that this is my truth, I know that it is absolutely true. And every person within the sound of my voice, each and every member of our community, each and every guest, each and every sentient being on the planet, we are all divine emanations. And it is from that place of unity, this deep and abiding connection that we have to the universe, to life, to God, and to each other, that I speak these words about and for each of us today. Truly knowing that we are spiritual beings having a human incarnation, and that as such we have everything that we need within us to live an amazing life. That this thing called life is an adventure, that there are opportunities upon opportunities upon opportunities to make choices, to experience new things, to meet new people, to learn new things. And I claim ease and grace for each of us around stepping into that kind of a life, letting go of any fear that we may have, any fear of making mistakes or getting it wrong or making a mess of our lives, knowing that we really cannot do that. That truly we are supported by the power and presence that created everything. There is no power greater than that. And we are tapped into that. That is who and what we are at our very core. And as we align with that and express that, there is no wrong choice. That truly we can live our lives out loud with eyes wide open, experiencing all that life has to share. tapping into the infinite possibilities that are available for us. And I'm so glad to know this truth, so grateful for the way that life is and for our ability to really live it fully. Grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes. That my words are clothed in form even as they are spoken. And so I speak them and I release them into that law, letting go and letting God be God. And I invite each of us to anchor this prayer for ourselves, for each other, for our community, and for the entire planet, simply by saying, and so it is. And so it is. Amen. Thank you all so very much. It is now time for our conscious giving. Excuse me. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. This is the time every week when we offer financial support to assist this community to continue to be a beacon of light and love for ourselves and for others. Together, we affirm the truth that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and contributes to the experience of sufficiency in the world. Please place your hand on your heart with your gift or an intention, and let's say our affirmation together. We will do it as a call and response, and I invite Vinny and Eileen to join us, and they will represent the community for the call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life.
I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life.
I give with gratitude, knowing God is my source.
I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you very much, Vinny and Eileen. Thank you, community. And please welcome back the amazing Sandy Hemenway.
Thank you, Dusty. And no matter how many times things come together in a certain way, I'm still amazed at the synchronicity of the universe, because I chose this song and I didn't know exactly what Dusty was going to be talking about, but this is a song you've all heard dozens, if not hundreds of times, but I decided I wasn't going to do it the way that you've heard it before. I'm putting my spin on it, and that's always a risk for a musician, to take a song that's well known and beloved and to do it a little bit differently. But I wanted to do that with this song because sometimes when things become too familiar, we stop hearing the words. And so instead of asking you to sing along with this, I invite you to hear the words, to listen to the words, and embrace the words of this song that you know. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
Thank you so much, Sandy. That was such a profound musical note to end on. So thank you. So the good news is, as you're setting off on your new adventures in life, you don't have to do it unsupported. We are here for you. So if anyone would like some prayer around whatever bold new thing you're going to be taking on, you can visit our website at trianglecsl.org, and on the home page, there's a button in the upper right-hand corner. You click on that button and fill in the request form, and we will get that prayer and send it out to all of us who are ministers or practitioners, and you'll have a whole dream team praying for you. Please join us after this service for our Let's Stay Connected. That is held on Zoom, and the link for that is in the Wednesday newsletter. Okay, please join TCSL licensed spiritual practitioner and certified radical forgiveness coach, Diane Carnes, for a class on radical forgiveness and make room for a miracle. The class will be held on 6 consecutive Thursday evenings, beginning May 6th, running through June 10th, from 7 to 8:30. The cost is $60, and you can register for the class on our website. But do it quick. It's starting next week. And please mark your calendars and save the date for a community picnic, an outdoor physical gathering of our community, which is going to be held on Saturday, May 15th from 12 to 5. We're being cautious, so we're asking everybody to bring your own food, bring your own drinks, bring your own chairs, bring your own games, but we'll be together and we will celebrate each other and life in general. Everyone is welcome. However, we have a limit of 50 people set by the park at the covered shelter that we're meeting at. So please let us know you're coming. And you do that by sending an email to info@trianglecsl.org. And we can't wait to see you there. Okay. So if you're like me, then maybe you spend some of the service or most of the service in some sort of contemplative, reflective posture, in or on your bed or your couch or your yoga mat. Well, this is the time for our May affirmation. So it's a time to rise up, and because this is all about the energy. So the law of attraction can't hear you if you're lying on your back mumbling. And once again, I invite Eileen and Vinny to join me, and we're going to do it as this call and response. So I'll go first, and then you guys send it out with some power and some intention. Okay, so science of mind is a philosophy which teaches a deep belief in oneness.
Science of mind is a philosophy which teaches a deep belief in oneness.
As I embody this truth, love becomes the natural way I relate to the world.
As I embody this truth, love becomes the natural way I relate to the world.
I rise up in revolutionary love for myself, for others, and for life itself.
I rise up in revolutionary love for myself, for others, and for life itself.
I give thanks for the old story I have needed in the past and begin to embrace the now.
I give thanks for the old story I needed in the past and begin to embrace the now.
I release this old story and behold the new me as the beloved.
I release the old story and behold the new me
as the beloved.
I rise up and live my life fully.
I rise up and live my life fully.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And everybody else who gave it their all. All right, so we are going to end as usual with a closing song. But before that, I will ask you to close your eyes briefly for a minute. And let me wrap up this service with a benediction bow. So, looking within again, I see that light that was shining so excellently through me, the light of God, is shining even bigger and brighter, and it's lighting a new way, a new path for me. And I am so excited about that. And I know that is going to be a path that is good, and that is forwarding, and that is expanding, and that is divinely led and divinely lit. So I know it's a good path. I know this is my truth. I know it is the truth of all of us. I know that we are all on our individual paths, but they are all paths that just lead us more fully into the life of the divine. So I affirm that what we have heard this week, this Sunday, will manifest bigger and brighter in the weeks to come. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful for everybody who made this service possible. I'm grateful for whoever the technological wizards are who make this electronic communication possible. I give thanks for the wisdom and the love that's been shared today. And I give thanks for the power of prayer and the power of service and the power of community to create the worlds and create the lives that we love to live. So knowing that this has indeed unfolded as a divine event in absolute divine perfection, I'm ready to let it go and to turn our attention from a service to living life. So I turn this over to the law that is making it so even as we speak. Knowing this truth, I ask you to affirm it for yourself and for each other with our words, and so it is. And so it is. Okay, and now it is time for our video.
Thank you all so very much for joining us today. Have a really, really wonderful day and a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon. Love you.
Bye.